Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Holt from Exodus and formerly from Slayer, and you're listening to The Razor's Edge.
Jules from The Razor's Edge with Jamie and Matt from Maybeshewill. So many thanks for doing this, guys. I know you've probably got a lot on today. So Damnation Festivals, I've not looked back at previous. Have you played before when it was in Leeds at all?
We have, yeah. We played it, I think it was 2012.
Yeah.
Looking at the big poster of Electric Wizard out the back on the way in. I remember that was the last time we played in Leeds, and yeah, that was it looks like it was 2012.
We played it in 2015 as well. When it was in the other room. It's like a wooden room thing. Mono headline that year. It was, well, not headline that stage. And I think I played it once before that as well.
Yeah, to sort of line up, even if you look at today, you've got the likes of Nordic Giants, amazing post-rock, that was phenomenal, and then the heavier stuff going on. It's such a good eclectic festival that the post-rock sits alongside, coffin mulch death metal as well. It's the tastes are there for everyone, really. So to me, it's a bit of an ideal festival for a band like yourselves, really. So headlining the Eyesore merch as well, so headlining a stage. So how did that come about, and how do you guys feel about that? Is there a bit of pressure there at all, or is it, something you're used to nowadays?
No, we don't do too much headline. We do the odd headline on the stage, maybe Arc Tangent or something. So it was, to be honest, I was slightly surprised, pleasantly surprised we booked a headline, but it wasn't talked about as that, but we know Gav quite well, and kind of...
He's a bit of a post-rock fan, isn't he, Gav?
It
must be said,
Yeah, but it's like, sung out with them a million times. And yeah, we weren't booked, but then suggested we'd be open to playing, and he booked us, and then put us on the headline show.
I think generally we're in a place with this kind of festival where, we'll either play, I don't know, like middle of the bill on the main stage, or potentially play really late on a smaller one. And it's always that choice of like, what's the vibe that you want to do. So I think it's quite exciting to play at the end of the day.
I agree, and that's I think I said the same last year. I think that stage is the best sound as well.
Really?
What in my my uncivilized hearing opinion, I think it's a great sound.
If it gives you the best feeling, it's the best sound.
Totally.
It's the first time we've been since the move. So we it's the first time seeing the venue.
It's been exciting.
So it's a much bigger setup now, isn't it? Really?
Well, exactly. I'm really happy for them. I think they had quite a few years in a row sold out, and outgrew the venue in Leeds. So it's great.
The last one in Leeds to me just felt a bit claustrophobic and packed. I know it was sold out, but it felt like it needed that extra step, really, and just to go into a bigger venue, and obviously they found that in Manchester. So looking at today's set, without giving away too many secrets before you play, anything special lined up? Is it just going to be a career spanning set, so to speak?
There's a lot of special sets at this festival, right?
Definitely, and
there's a lot of album playthroughs, and I'm afraid we're just going to do like our bog standard headline set.
Don't be afraid about that at all.
That is finely honed. That is the best Maybeshewill set. If we sort of mess around with it, it gets worse. So we keep to something. Yeah. There's some like. It gets bookended by. I mean, we're still on an album campaign. So, where we, generally we like to open the set with the album opener. From whatever campaign we're on. So that's like a nice. It still feels like part of that. So that will happen. There's like the older favourites that we sort of like to finish the set on, but generally there's just like a nice flow of particular songs that we enjoy playing, and they get swapped around a little bit depending on the length of the set. This one's like a touch shorter than we sometimes do.
How long have you got today?
It's an hour.
It's an hour, is it right? Okay,
yeah. We do. I don't know. Yeah, got a lot of albums, so sometimes hard to squeeze. We like to have a few moves during the set. So
finish with the older, sort of heavier stuff, maybe.
Well, I mean,
we go blend,
mix it up.
There's always that feeling of whether you should. If you're an outlier on a festival bill, you always have that feeling of whether you should tailor what you're doing to the audience or not, and just do it as you would for whatever.
Totally.
And obviously, we actually do get booked on quite a lot of heavier metal events. So it gives that feeling of like, oh well, we should just lean that way and go with it. But on the other hand, we're booked for being the band we are.
Absolutely.
So
and I think there's enough fans of post rock here that they will appreciate that more than just playing your heavier, riffier stuff, should we say? So agree totally. And obviously the you know, if you, I think I was talking to the guys in Bosque yesterday, and they played Audio No yesterday, and they said they actually had to learn 2 of the tracks from scratch again. You know, it's like, shit, how do we play this again? You know?
There's quite a few Maybeshewill songs that we have only ever played once because of that kind of situation. So like, there's been, I remember when we were doing I Was Here for a Moment in 2012. I remember there was a show in London at the Lexington where we did that all the way through. And so there's a bunch of songs on that we've only ever played.
I might have been there actually.
Really?
Yeah,
That's great. That's fucking great.
Yeah, Lexington is a place I've only been to 2 or 3 times. I'm sure that was the first time I ever went there actually. Yeah.
Right.
It's a really nice venue.
It is a cool venue. Yeah, I don't know why they don't use it more in London.
Yeah.
And again, I think the sound there is normally pretty good as well. From
Yeah. It's because it's quite small bands out, like especially if that was in a different city, people would play there, but because London's a bigger audience,
yeah, totally, yeah,
people outgrow it quite quickly in their careers.
That's right.
In a way, I think that is one of my like one of the best small venues in the country.
Yeah. So you've obviously mentioned your, if I'm allowed to call it, your comeback album, No Feeling Is Final, and you're still on that cycle. I think, was it 2021 you released that? 2021?
Yes, it was.
It was 21, yeah, 21, yeah. Time is flying,
They toured it in 2022.
Yeah, we're coming up to its 2nd birthday,
Yeah, that's gone quick.
Yeah.
So how are you all feeling about that now after being away for a few years and making that comeback? You got the sort of itch again for it. How's the album cycle been? That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, there was a little serendipity in how the record came together. Anyway, when we started working on music together, the plan wasn't straight off the bat to do a whole album. It just kind of happened like that, and part of that was the pandemic. Because it put everyone in a position where people had more time to put into things like writing and like recording and stuff. And I think before that we'd done like a couple of songs, and we booked that Art Tangent show.
Yeah.
And as a one-off, and just to see how it was going to be to operate as a band again. Had a single prepared to do that. I think it was going to be a single release, and then obviously all went.
That's right.
Haywire.
I forgot that.
And so and then we were just working on stuff, and suddenly we had like 16, 18 songs kicking around, and it was like, well, then we got an album here. So it was just a love, and then we kind of. I was about to say we didn't rush the recording, but it did actually get kind of.
You always
run out of
time.
Pushy. But that was actually only for.
It's getting the vinyl to.
Our pressing slot, yeah. It's to me.
At that point, they went up to like a year. It took you like a year to get your vinyl back.
Yeah, it's crazy vinyl pressing at that.
Demand went like through the roof. A lot. I mean, also because of like majors doing repressing as well.
Yeah.
And I think it's the plans being down on staff because people have to go in.
Yeah, I think they shut down and then they had a huge backlog. But anyway, so there was a bit of a rush process of finishing it, but it was just lovely to be doing it again. And it's some of our most like collaborative material.
Yeah.
And it was a very enjoyable album to put together, and just sort of musically strongly represents where all of us are at. And what's really nice about it is that, I mean, obviously being an instrumental band, putting in themes and narratives is not as simple as writing lyrics.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But we always like to put ideas and concepts behind the music, and I feel like this is the album that has been understood the most. In what people have written about it and people's response to it.
Yeah, sure.
So that was amazing. That was lovely.
Okay, cool. How does sort of that whole writing process work with you guys without having any lyrics involved? Is it a sort of jammy type thing, or
not really?
Just everyone comes with their own ideas?
Someone will usually start something, and then we had to do like a few sessions where it was like online, kind of like discuss the ideas and kind of talk about like
we did a bit of remote writing.
And then there usually be like someone will have come up with. Mainly Robin is the core composer, maybe she was mainly Robin will have come up with like a kind of core of a song, and then we had the kind of recording time books, and then we had like, but before that we did like maybe 3 or 4 days rehearsal where we kind of worked on the songs more together as a whole.
There's still an element of getting together and playing them. So even though there's lots of, the arrangements generally these days are really heavy on like programming of like electronics and the recording of things like strings and like real pianos and all that stuff, but there is still that element of a lot of the figuring out of the songs can still be done like when we just get together in a room. So luckily, like, we were able to do that.
It doesn't sound proper until we start playing it and then reinvent it a little bit, and then we're kind of now it sounds like probably like Maybeshewill.
Okay, cool. And the subsequent tour, I assume that went great as well, and everyone was pleased to see you back again.
Except for when we all got COVID and had to go home. But other than that, was good.
Yeah.
It was very enjoyable getting to do it again. It's like a slightly less pressurised environment before, like a bit easier on ourselves, I think. Or just kind of.
I think that's the general MO of the band is that now. I think we did a lot in the years preceding Fair Youth. We were just mega busy, and I think maybe we were putting quite a lot of pressure on ourselves. But yeah, sort of certainly as far as what shows we're doing and like what tours and stuff, it's a little bit more selective and a little bit more. Is that going to be a good time? You know, are the conditions nice for us to just go and do that and not be like pushing ourselves?
Okay, cool.
Everyone's got other shit going on.
Busy lives.
So that tours were great. You know, we did like a little UK run, did a nice London show, Islington Academy, not Academy, sorry, Assembly Hall. And then the European run, sadly we did get struck down, but we got 10 out of 15, which I think
we had to go back twice to finish it off, but it ended up being quite nice. You always end up touring in the winter in Europe, and it was quite nice to go back to places like the Netherlands in the summer. It's like, wow, it's really nice here. But like, and then just go back over end up being like 2 little trips. But it was good.
The reception to in general, you know, for the record and for us touring again has been almost universally warm.
Excellent.
And I think people just
as it should be. Well,
not necessarily because
you got to earn that.
So I've got my fan hat on there, so
it's fine. It's nice. Well, that you know, I think it's people have kind of understand it.
It's been very nice that people have been supportive of the band again. That's like, otherwise it wouldn't be to stop, because it's like not like you can only do so much of your own steam.
It feels to me like there's been a bit of I'm not going to say a post-rock resurgence, because I don't think it ever went away, but I keep finding new bands like Din of Celestial Birds yesterday. Never heard of them before this festival. Absolutely amazing. You know, what a great post-rock band they were. Instrumental as well, and I think there's quite a few of these guys coming up in the sort of bubbling away now, and I think there's a really good sort of post-rock scene in the country, which is fantastic, obviously. So looking forward then, have you got the bug enough to record another album? Are you looking to carry on now, or what's the sort of story there?
Early days yet, I think there. Sure, I think we're going to do a couple more shows this next year, and then hopefully work on some new music. But when it's good, if it's good enough, at some point we'll release it. If not, like it's got to be good.
There's some ideas floating around, and I think it's still compelling for us to make music together.
Yeah, sure, good.
And so,
good.
But because I think now we're perhaps conscious of just like repeating ourselves too much, and are kind of interested in like treading some different ground. And I think we did that with the last one. And just tried a few things. And it's always the case that when you're writing, sometimes you'll try something that feels really weird, and then when it all comes together, it actually still just fits under your own kind of space.
Sure,
Once it's in the context of like a whole album or something. But there's some ideas floating around.
Okay, well, it's definitely not a no, which is great to hear anyway. So,
certainly no,
definitely not a no.
No, it's like, you know, it's just been it's been so nice working together again.
Excellent.
And getting to do things like come headline that festival at Damnation, that's like awesome. You know, we're always like really looking forward to that, spending time with each other, and then getting to like play a wicked gig should be awesome. I don't know, we haven't played in a little bit, so a little bit slightly anxious, but I think it'll be good. Well, we sounded relatively good at rehearsing, so I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, did I hear you slightly warm up this morning? I think I was up here and I thought I heard something. It wasn't maybe they were just playing your music then.
Could have been, maybe just a PA check.
The PA check we using Maybeshewill.
Nah, we rehearsed last night and then we drove up today, so we just
cool.
nothing too early. We're taking it easy. We're sort of taking these things very leisurely, you know.
Excellent. No, well, I'm looking forward to the set, and I'm sure you'll blast it as always. Thanks for that, guys. I'm finishing every interview here. As you've said, there's a bit of a tradition at Damnation with bands playing full sets, so I'll put you on the spot a bit. If you could see any band play a full album in its entirety that you maybe haven't seen already, or if you have, what would it be?
is tough.
Yeah, I know. You sort of like, well, I normally have about 5 in my head and can't pick the one.
Well, mine would be Radiohead in Rainbows. I think I'd like it. That was pretty amazing.
Good choice.
In a small venue, I have to see it live. Because they played it at 93 Feet East, I think, around the time, which is a tiny place in London. That'd be it for me.
Mine's a bit of a weird one, but I'd want to see Ruben play Race Car Backwards.
Oh, I remember Ruben. They're a 90s band, weren't
A bit
they?
late, slightly late.
Early 2000s.
Yeah, sort of vaguely recall the name,
Yeah.
Is that like Symposium and bands
Around that
like
era.
that era, wasn't it?
A bit more
like
bit straight
around
rock.
like 100 Reasons-ish.
Oh, that's
kind of
right,
period,
yeah.
Early mid-2000s, but yeah, sort of,
Okay.
that album is just unreal. I fucking love it.
Well, a fantastic choice, and I want to go back and check it out as well now, just to make sure.
Yeah.
Chaps, been a pleasure.
Yeah,
Many
thank you
thanks,
very
and I look forward to tonight's
Thank you
set,
very
and
much
good luck.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you keep up to date with future episodes by subscribing to our channels. For more information on this podcast, or for all the latest music news, reviews, interviews and more, head over to our website www.therazorsedge.rocks.